Watching a construction crew pour $60,000 worth of concrete into my vegetable garden was the moment I knew a legal war had started. Gideon was my neighbor, a self-appointed king of the cul-de-sac who owned a local construction firm and treated our neighborhood like his personal property. He had decided to build a massive, luxury outdoor kitchen, and instead of sticking to his own yard, he decided that the property line on our shared acre was flexible. When I confronted him, he didn't offer an apology. He offered a smirk. He held up a hand-drawn map and told me that based on his professional expertise, the back half of my garden actually belonged to him. He told me to stop being difficult and that he was doing me a favor by increasing the property value for both of us. He finished by threatening to tie me up in litigation until I was bankrupt if I tried to stop his workers. He assumed that because I was a quiet interior designer, I wouldn't have the stomach for a legal fight. I didn't give him the satisfaction of a shouting match. I walked back into my house and called a contact from university who specialized in forensic land surveying. I spent $3,000 out of my own pocket to have a state-certified team come out the next morning. They didn't just look at satellite maps. They spent 2 days digging up the original iron boundary pins from 1955. The results were a total catastrophe for Gideon. Not only was his new kitchen 3 feet onto my land, but his existing guest house, a building he'd finished 5 years ago, was sitting 4 feet over the boundary line. I waited until the expensive marble countertops were crated in, and his crew was finishing the final masonry. I let him spend every cent of that $60,000 budget. That Friday afternoon, while he was hosting a pre-launch party for his business associates, I walked into his backyard with a court-appointed sheriff and a cease and desist order. Gideon tried to laugh it off in front of his guests, calling me delusional. I simply handed the sheriff the certified survey report. When the sheriff saw the iron pin markers and the red flags the survey team had left, he turned to Gideon and said, "Sir, you are currently trespassing on private property. You have 1 hour to remove your equipment or I'm taking you in." The financial fallout was a nightmare for Gideon. Because his guest house was also encroaching on my land, I had the legal leverage to demand its total demolition. His title insurance company refused to cover the loss because he had skipped the survey process to save a few $100s. In the end, he had to pay me a $100,000 settlement just to keep his guest house standing, plus the cost of tearing down his brand new kitchen. Gideon went from the king of the cul-de-sac to the laughingstock of the county, all because he thought he could get away with